My background, both academically, professionally, and in my public service, matches not just the investment piece of it, but the entire job of the treasurer. With respect to the investment elements of it, my background is in economics. I went to Claremont Men's College in California, which is the institution that gave rise to Ronald Reagan's finance and tax strategies for his administration. And that's what drew me there after having worked for his election in 1980. I have a degree in economics and accounting and a second degree in political science. Worked for President Reagan's re-election in 1984 and went on to law school in a special program called the Olin Fellowship in Law and Economics, which is not all that widely known, but after spending my first year demonstrating I was a good enough student, the University of Chicago then paid my way to complete my education for the last 2 years, but I did special programs in economics, finance, taxation, business law, and related courses. I'd intended to build my practice, my legal practice, based on those skill sets. But ultimately, after working in law for a little more than a decade, I found my city of Tempe misspending what I thought of hundreds of millions of dollars, so I ran for council. And it's that public service background that also informs my ability to manage the investment portfolio. I have to note that many people think that the treasurer is the one who's supposed to manage that portfolio, and in fact, the treasurer manages a staff of people that manage that portfolio and makes appointments to the state investment board to manage that portfolio. In fact, one of the appointments is specifically a person with investment finance background who is supposed to be the investment advisor to the Treasurer's Board. In fact, I think it's important that the treasurer have some independence from the staff's choices and the board's choices so that there is a person there to hold the process and the staff and board accountable for the decisions they're making. In my work in the private sector as a lawyer, I was advising businesses not just in Arizona or this country, but even across the globe. And my background from law school and that work was so that I could not just be able to read the kinds of documents that investment advisors are supposed to read, but actually I wrote them for companies and disclosures that are required by the SEC. So that background gives me the ability to analyze company performance and what are sensible investments. In addition, after serving 4 years on the Tempe City Council, I realized what it was like to be on the short end of a 6-to-1 vote, my council being significantly more liberal fiscally specifically than I was. I ran for mayor to try to change the way the city of Tempe was doing business. And among the things that the city of Tempe does, and I think you probably understand this in the question, it's not just state money that's invested. That $12 billion, it's a little more than that, isn't just state money. It's state money, it's county money, it's school district money, and it's also city money. So the cities invest their excess resources through the treasurer's office and its portfolio. And as mayor of the city of Tempe, part of my obligation was to understand that process and make sure our investments made by the city of Tempe were safe and secure.